A passenger plane carrying 181 people crash-landed on its belly on Sunday at an airport in South Korea, hitting a barrier and exploding into an orange fireball in the worst aviation disaster in the country in almost 3 decades. Nearly all of the people on board the plane, a Boeing 737-800 operated by Jeju Air, were killed, officials said. The plane, Flight 7C-2216, had taken off from Bangkok and was landing at Muan International Airport in South Korea's southwest when it crashed around 9 a.m. local time. Officials said the plane had broken into so many pieces that only its tail was identifiable. The plane was carrying 175 passengers and 6 crew members. As of Sunday evening, the official death toll had risen to 179, according to the National Fire Agency. Only 2 people, crew members who were rescued from the aircraft's tail section, survived. As the plane was landing, he said, the airport warned it about a potential bird strike. The plane issued a Mayday alert shortly after, he said, then crash-landed. The muddy tidal flats near Muan International Airport and much of the west coast of the Korean peninsula are favorite resting places for migrant birds. Photographs in local media showed flocks of birds flying near the airport on Sunday. A team of U.S. investigators was being assembled to aid South Korea's probe into a fiery commercial plane crash Sunday that killed 179 people in that country's deadliest domestic air disaster ever. 2 Jeju Air crew members survived and were being treated for injuries. The flight had 175 passengers and 6 crew on board, and the fatalities ranged in age from 3 to 78, authorities said. Jeju Air 089590.ks Flight 7C-2216 was en route from Bangkok when it touched down without deploying its landing gear, veered off a runway, and slammed into a wall at Muan International Airport on Sunday morning, South Korea's transport ministry said. Much of the crash was captured on video. As authorities announced the names of some of those killed in the crash, families of the passengers wept and screamed, some collapsing on the floor. South Korea's acting president Choi Sang-mok, who visited the crash site, announced a week-long period of mourning. The control tower had issued bird strike warnings shortly before the pilots declared Mayday and attempted to land, authorities said. The twin-engine Boeing 737-800 was seen in local media video skidding down the runway before crashing in an explosion of flames and debris. After the plane collided with the wall, passengers were thrown out of the aircraft. The chances of survival were extremely low, Muan Fire Chief Lee Jung-hyun said in a briefing translated by Yonhap News Agency. The aircraft has almost completely been destroyed, and it is difficult to identify the deceased. We are in the process of recovering the remains, which will take time. Investigators collected saliva swabs from family members of those aboard for DNA tests to help identify victims. John Jae-young, 71, said his daughter Mi-suk died in the crash.